We have a urgent warning from none other than the CTO at Ledger, the largest hardware storage company in the world for cryptocurrencies. He's saying basically don't make any transactions you don't have to. If you're using a hardware wallet, okay, be very careful. If you're using a hot wallet, don't make any transactions right now. Like, just don't do it. You could lose your money. You could lose your crypto even if everything looks normal. So let's cover that. Let's talk about what this means. I honestly wasn't even planning on making a video about anything this afternoon, but this came up and I think this is something very important. By the way, if you do want to trade, you can check out the link to BYDeFi underneath the video. We are running a new competition. Well, not even a competition, just if you sign up for the first time, you can deposit $1,000, get $200 back. And then if you if you deposit more, then you can get even more back, up to $2,000. Now, what we're talking about today really doesn't affect trading at all. I double checked with ChatGPT, and because exchanges use their own backend system, this won't affect it. So if you do want to trade, now you can do it underneath the video at BYDeFi. Again, now let's get right into this. There's a large-scale supply chain attack in progress. The NPM account of a reputable developer has been compromised. The affected packages have already been downloaded over 1 billion times, meaning the entire JavaScript ecosystem may be at risk. The malicious payload works by silently swapping crypto addresses on the fly to steal funds. If you use a hardware wallet, pay attention to every transaction before signing and you're safe. So usually there are multiple steps, like you copy and paste, and then they double check with you that you want to send it to the place that you copied and pasted. If you don't use a hardware wallet, refrain from making any on-chain transactions for now. It's still unclear whether the attacker is also stealing seeds from software wallets directly at this stage. That's crazy. This is from the CTO at Ledger, the chief technology officer, the head honcho in terms of technology and security. There are a couple different, there's a comment that I think is pretty interesting too. This is scary big. A compromised NPM package with 1 billion plus downloads means the malware could be inside countless apps, wallets, and scripts people use every day. The payload swaps addresses, so even if you think you're sending funds to the right place, it silently reroutes them. Hardware wallets protect you because you see and confirm the final address on device. Priorities for now. Double check every address before signing. If you don't use a hardware wallet, best to pause transactions till more details emerge. Audit your dependencies, lock versions, and monitor for updates from the compromised packages. Supply chain security is the weakest link. One account hack can ripple through the entire ecosystem. All right, so be very careful right now. When stuff like this comes up, I think there are a couple things that you should not be doing. First of all, like they said, don't do transactions you don't need to. And you might be worried and thinking, well, I have a lot of crypto on a hot wallet, right? And it's not on my hardware wallet. Maybe you're trading with it or something. This isn't like legal or crypto or financial advice, but I wouldn't make a transaction right now. Like, I would not freak out and say, oh, well, since it's not on my hardware wallet, I'm going to quick move it over. The CTO is literally saying, avoid all on-chain transactions. So the more that you try to transact and get it in a safe place, the more risk you're taking in my mind. If I had a significant amount on a hot wallet, I would leave it there right now. I would not try to move it quickly. That's a big problem that a lot of people have when they feel like they're at risk in crypto. They take on additional risk when they don't have to. And that's not always the case, right? If there's some exchange that had a major issue and there's like rumors coming out that they were going to pause withdrawals or that they were going to go under and take people's funds, I would withdraw from that. But I've had other people that were getting hacked, right? Like, they were on the phone with a hacker and they thought, I need to quickly move my funds before the hacker gets them, and they make rash decisions, and oftentimes it actually leads to the hacker being able to steal their crypto. So be careful right now. Again, don't do anything you don't have to. If you're on a hardware wallet, I'd still I probably won't even log in to see if like the funds are still there, because honestly, if they're not there, there's nothing you can do. If they are there, you might have also just like, you're just adding extra risk. Hardware wallets, they said, are fine again. So maybe that's not the best explanation, but even, hot wallet, I would just stay calm, like don't do anything rash, and just sit on your hands for a little while until people figure this out and try to figure out the extent of this. And what the best course of action is if you want to do transactions. I've been saying for a year and a half now that I feel much more comfortable with something like a Bitcoin ETF right now, because of the different risks, especially when you consider that like Bitcoin could go up 10x, let's say, and then it becomes 10x more profitable to try to steal your crypto and steal your Bitcoin. So there are different reasons that people get into crypto. Some people like the autonomy or being able to hold their own asset. Some people just want the investment returns. And I think there can be a mix too. I know some people, want both combined, and sure, then you can go with a hardware wallet. But there are so many risks to holding crypto that become more and more prevalent every day. There are also risks of holding it on, in ETFs and with BlackRock and Fidelity. But oftentimes I feel like for a lot of people, it's riskier to hold it yourself than to hold it through a custodian. But again, that will probably set some people off. So make your own decision on that. Just make sure you're comfortable. If this freaks you out, which honestly, like this kind of thing does freak me out, what just came out here, maybe you consider buying some ETFs and balancing your portfolio with ETFs and like actual hard Bitcoin, native Bitcoin. But yeah, I just wanted to update you on that, because that is freaky. This is scary. This is one of those things that's scary. It feels crappy when you have crypto that's stolen from you, or you make a stupid decision and it goes down to zero. This is the stuff that really freaks people out, because you could be doing everything right and still get your crypto taken away. So just be cautious, take a breath, go touch some grass, get out of the office, and try not to let it affect you too much. Ethereum short squeeze is loading. All-time high Ethereum shorts. This is really the only other thing that I wanted to talk about. There are a lot of people betting against crypto right now. I still think the end of the year is going to be pretty explosive. I think it's going to be a great time for crypto. So don't let me, talk about this make you feel like I'm bearish on crypto or bearish on crypto moving forward. I think there are going to be more and more products that come out that will be easy to use and will help people with crypto and get into crypto. I think the ETFs are probably the best product for that, for people that don't want to actually take on that risk. But the fact is I'm still very bullish on crypto and Bitcoin and Ethereum for the rest of the year and even into next year, depending on what the Fed does in the economy. But stay focused, right? This is not a time to freak out and to sell everything or get out completely, in my mind. But you have to make your own decisions. If you do want to trade, like I said, BYDeFi, there's a link to it underneath the video. As I said too, with ChatGPT double checking me, this should not affect centralized exchanges. So yeah, check out BYDeFi. This is another, one of the benefits of having a centralized exchange versus DeFi, right? This would affect you in DeFi, but doesn't on a centralized exchange. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'll see y'all soon.